make money.
What's up, everybody? Episode 19, back live with you after a little bit of a COVID incident where everybody we knew got COVID. So we had to be creative a little bit with episode 18. Not the greatest, but hey, you know.
I thought it was funny as hell.
It was quick, at least, for all you who don't want to listen for an hour. But I guess we should just start off with more of the sobering news that everybody's talking about in the NFL. It's Damar Hamlin.
Yes. I will not be ranting today about the Bills. Instead, not much you could say. Just pray for Damar Hamlin. If you watch the news at all, turn on the TV, you know what happened. Watching it was just horrifying. I mean,
Terrible.
even in a bar of strangers, people who didn't care about football were just like in awe. So
Yeah,
we're all rooting for him. Everybody, even people who hate the Bills, who don't know football, and the way the country came together for him is very impressive. Like, this is great. He's at over $6 million now for his charity. You know, I encourage everybody to donate. That's what Bills Mafia does. If we can't do anything ourselves, we donate. So,
yeah, we're checking Twitter every 20 minutes. We just want to get that one tweet that says he's up, he's awake. He's good.
Right now he's still sedated. He's still, they put him to sleep a couple of days ago, and he is showing progress. Though they said so far, it's not a lot of progress, but it's better than nothing. So hopefully, you get the thumbs up. But anyways, there's not much that you guys heard about. Pray for Damar Hamlin.
Absolutely.
Number 3. Let's go.
More uplifting note for weekend at Bernie's. So what did Bernie do for the weekend? He was hanging out, doing Christmassy stuff, the holidays, seeing everybody possible.
Yeah, he actually did a lot, but we're just really bad at thinking about taking pictures. It's not really a thing that we do, and Instagram has made us push ourselves a little bit more, but yeah, we failed at it. So these are the pictures we have. But he hung out for New Year's Eve. He hung out for football Sunday, New Year's Day. He did Christmas Eve. He was everywhere. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, these are the only pictures we took of him.
That's all we got.
So he had a good time.
Next up, you got Vegas. This is a good one. This is like a classic. You got Vegas. What it's supposed to be.
During
a tourist.
Holidays.
Yeah, tourist doing something stupid, right? So Bellagio, we talked about it before, where like they put together this observatory where they change it. I think it's like 4 times for the year, but when they do it, they go big. Mm-hmm. And whether it's Chinese New Year, the holidays, different seasons they're changing and so on. And they put together this amazing Christmas one, and we saw it as it was. We
posted it. You could check out Instagram for the video of the Christmas display.
Yeah. So as part of this display, they had like a 750-pound gingerbread house, and apparently a tourist, maybe a few too many cocktails, supposedly was drunk, and took a bite out of the gingerbread house. So
it's not edible, people, though. Just so you know.
No, I think it was edible.
They said it says it's nothing within reach is digestible.
Terrible. So if Bellagio had to put up signs that says, "Please do not try to eat the display going forward," and you know that you're in Vegas when you see a sign like that. So, look, you went to Vegas. Your wife probably dragged you to the observatory. You got a little lit before you went there. You decided you want to take a bite out of the little design element there in the gingerbread house. So, you got Vegas.
Woo! That's what all Vegas is about.
All right. Next up, let's face it. What are we going to start with? T.O.?
Yeah, because it's dumb.
Want me to take it?
Yeah, you're taking it. Why am I
Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens, the last couple weeks has been in the news where supposedly he was working out. He's been in touch with some teams, and that he was thinking about making this comeback. He's 49 years old. He would be the oldest player to ever play. He's already a Hall of Famer. And he said he was in constant contact with Jerry Jones and about maybe getting a deal done. And I was really surprised. I was like, I know that the Cowboys they're making a run here for the playoffs. Maybe they want a little extra help. I mean, he's in great shape still. Supposedly he ran a 4.5 40, which I'm sure is natural when you're 49 years old.
He's also a nut job.
He's a nut job. And then speaking of nut jobs, Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys, comes out and just says, "No, we've not been in contact at all. This is completely wrong. We're not considering him at all." So shout out to UTL for talking a little shit, trying to stir up some interest in you because you want to make a comeback.
Here we are talking about you, so it works.
Yeah, it worked.
Although our platform is very small, so not very helpful. All right, we got Derek Carr. Again, if you're a football fan, you've heard this. The Raiders have decided to part ways with Derek Carr with the idea that they would just bench him for the rest of the games that the Raiders have left in the season. However, Derek Carr felt differently and said, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to be going to games, practices, or anything. If you're done with me, I am done with you. So we'll see where he goes.
Jets, maybe?
Yeah, Jets. Panthers. No, not Panthers.
A couple of the teams are starved.
Yep. Well, so yeah, I feel like there's plenty of teams that are in need right now, so he can go somewhere else, easily. But that's what happened in Vegas.
I feel bad for Devontae Adams. They're best friends, and Devontae Adams chose, instead of signing with the Packers, to go to Vegas, and his boy doesn't even last one season. Yes. That kind of sucks, What are you going to do? It's the worst places to be. Mm-hmm. Probably Green Bay. It's probably a worse place to be. All right, next up, Kayvon Thibbideaux. So Giants draft pick, pass rusher, having a good season, and he looks like he's going to do good things for the Giants. But a little interesting one, he sacks Nick Foles last week when they're playing the Colts, and I don't think he realizes that Nick Foles is squirming next to him, and he's really hurt, mm-hmm. and Thibodeau's doing snow angels right next to him. It was fucking...
On turf with no snow on it.
No
I don't
snow.
know why
It's nothing to do with snow.
It was the entire... And he went way too long.
Yes.
Like, the entire time Nick Foles is squirming in pain, he's still doing the damn snow angels.
So he took a little flack for it, but, maybe it's poor taste, but...
Yeah, Saturday was not happy about it. He called it trash.
But
all you could do is hope that the man had no idea. The helmet blocked his view. I mean, that would be just ridiculous if it wasn't the case.
True. I guess I'll just take this one. Jim Harbaugh. So, look, he's leaving, Michigan. It looks like he's leaving Michigan. And it'll be the case where some NFL teams are always going to want to entertain, right? So he's been having some conversations. And as of today, which we're filming this on Wednesday, he did have a conversation with the Panthers owner, David Tepper, about potentially taking over the coaching job there, because obviously they had fired Matt Rule earlier this season. So it'd be an interesting landing spot for him. I'm sure they're going to have to pay up, but keep an eye out for this guy, because
he's willing to come back.
Yeah, totally. And
then last we have Dana White.
Uh-oh.
Now, again, if you're a sports fan, you've definitely heard this, but if you're not, this might be news to you. He's part of the UFC, by the way. He's
the owner,
the owner of the UFC. So fighting, UFC fighting is a huge thing. If you don't know, blah blah blah. Good way to make some extra money is on UFC fighting. But anyways, he was out in Mexico with his wife. They've been together for a long time, 30 years, I think, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
And they're celebrating New Year's, getting a little drunk. And I guess they got in a little argument, and she slapped him across the face, and he slapped her back, and it was all on video, so he's getting a lot of shit for it. People just don't physically abuse each other. That's it.
I agree.
He's getting a lot of shit for it because, guys shouldn't be hitting women, blah, 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 but she really shouldn't have hit him either. Don't physically abuse your significant other. So he's all over making statements, we had a lot to drink. We don't even know what we were arguing about, but what I did was wrong. He did, he is taking full responsibility. He's embarrassed because now he's got to talk to his kids about what happened. But yeah, got filmed doing that out in public. So
not great, especially when you're in a public eye, right?
Yeah. Yikes. So that's Let's Face It for this week.
That's it. All right, next up, last week's betting review. So we didn't really do a betting review for the week before, which was a Christmas weekend. We did great. So we were actually making money back. So that was a good thing. This week we ended up being plus almost 2 units for this week. And it would have been a bunch more, except we just bet on a bunch of random college stuff that we have no expertise in any way. So like if you look at NFL, we hit 2/3 of the games.
The college one was a joke. We did some research, but it was college. You can't. It's so very hard.
It's hard.
If any of you had money on the Bills game, Bengals game, they just gave it right back to you, just as an FYI. So
yeah, right. It's not pending in your account. They refunded it.
They refunded it.
So yeah, the negative stuff was the college. The Jets obviously, I'm wearing a Nets thing right now
just
because
saw
I'm
that.
moving on to next season, the next team that could potentially win something for
He's done with football.
my
Right, for
fandom.
basketball.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we'll get into it. But am I going to bet the Jets this week? Absolutely. But they disappointed, and then Raiders, we bet we bet them once they went to overtime to win in overtime, which actually kind of, if you think about it, includes like who's going to win the coin toss. They won the coin toss, but they didn't cover on that one, so that was a shame. It was a bet for a couple of units because we were drinking, and wanted that action, and so that within 1 minute it was gone.
Shout out to the Steelers because I definitely put way more money than I usually would have because I was having a great time.
That's right.
On New Year's Day, and they covered everything, so that pretty much saved my account. The Steelers game, so thank you for that.
Absolutely, and then the, is it the most sober bet to bet the Steelers' first drive ends in a field goal attempt? No, but I liked it a lot, and look, it was plus 700, and it happened, and it covered, so that was a good one. So, yeah, let's keep making that money. So the last 2 weeks still up. Would have been up more if we didn't play these stupid things, but that's betting. If you're not in it, you can't win it. No risk it, no biscuit. Come on, guys.
All right.
All right.
Well, will the Bills-Bengals game not be played? I don't know how you make this work. What sucks is it's actually very important. There's a lot of bets where teams have to play all 18 games?
17 games.
17 games in order for you to get paid out.
Yes.
So there's that element of it. It's the, where do the Bills and Bengals stand? It's a shame that it wasn't one of those crap games that it didn't matter for either team because we could all move on. Hopefully Vegas would figure out how to do that whole, they only played, the 16 games, not the 17. So who knows what's going to happen from here on out. They're still waiting. I think it's a rough decision. I assume they're playing this weekend. It doesn't seem like something that they would sit out. But as far as playing the Bengals again, great job, though. That game needed to be stopped.
Stop it.
And not played. Everybody was thinking they just play the next day. Oh, no, I couldn't imagine if you watched NFL news, that's all they talked about. They couldn't even talk about other football games because they just felt it was wrong. So the decision's great. No one's upset with it. But the question still comes to be what happens now.
Right, because, theory, it could be negative for the Bills where they don't have a chance to be the number one seed. If they both win this week and the Chiefs win and the Bills win, then Chiefs have one extra win than they do, and then they don't get it. And, what does that mean about the Bengals and their seeding and stuff? So the seeding matters. The way I was thinking about it, the one way that potentially I could see this working is just keep everything as is, but you announce before the playoffs happen. You say, look, if it's Bills and Kansas City going to the AFC Championship game, then we'll play it at a neutral field, so nobody gets home field advantage there. This way, they both still get home field throughout, but if they have to go play each other, that because that would be fair, and maybe that's where they're going to wait to figure out what happens this weekend and then talk about it, But oh well, Jets are out. Moving on.
The Giants dominated the Colts, which kind of locks them in for their spot, which is impressive. Good for you, Giants. Take it.
Stupid Brady and the Bucks. They clinched their division. They scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. It's like, if they ever can string together a full game, they might actually be good. But they're 8-8, and 8-8 gets in the playoffs over there. So it's rough.
Well, the Packers are showing up to be a little bit better, which irks me to no end. As you'll see when their game against the Lions come up, because I have some emotions on this more than intelligent decisions happening.
Yeah. So they're both on the bubble waiting to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And then the Chiefs, they squeaked by the Broncos, still the number one seed. So they're still there. And speaking of which, we'll just get into the games now and we'll just roll through these, okay? The one important part here is that this week, make sure when you're placing bets, you know the implications for playoffs because what looks maybe like a good bet or a bad bet is not the case because you have to figure out what they're playing for. Is it a draft pick because you suck? Is it you're sitting your guys because you don't have any? You're not going to get your seed's not going to get better at all. Who cares, right? So this is a really important thing.
Do your research.
Research.
We will give you some hint, some information here, but things change as as it gets closer. So
definitely. All right, first up, Chiefs at the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. So this one, so the Chiefs are playing for the seed, right?
Yeah, the Chiefs are going to play. The Raiders, they're doing a little bit better with
Jared Stidham.
Stidham. I want to say Stadium, but I always say
It's
it wrong.
got an H in there.
It's weird. But that guy, okay, they're doing better. But the Chiefs, they need this, and they're the Chiefs. They're going to cover this spread, we think. However, again, I have a hatred for the Chiefs and just refuse to put my money on them.
Yeah, for me, it's just it's a 7.5 that gets me because the Chiefs have kind of squeaked by some
shit teams,
like the
Broncos.
And
it's true.
The Raiders, you got a little more energy behind the new quarterback over there. They put up 30, and then they lost, but it was to the Niners where they were supposed to lose by a lot, and they went to overtime with them. So, I think if they finish strong here, at least McDaniels figures that he's got a little more backing from the ownership, going into the next year, that he's not forced to fire a bunch of people because people are talking out there in Vegas about that shit. So they got nothing to play for, but the Chiefs do. So we're going to stay away, but we would lean on the Chiefs. Okay. Titans at Jaguars. This is a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have different views on this, but I'll let him put his money where his mouth is, and I will just keep mine in my pocket.
Look, Jacksonville wins, they're in, and they win because they win their division. If they lose, the Titans actually win their division, and then Jacksonville starts looking at the Pats and the Dolphins to see whether or not they're going to win, and that's going to depend on whether or not the Jacksonville can get it if they lost. I just think that Jacksonville's been playing some good football. I watched the Cowboys Titans game on Thursday night. I thought Titans just looked pretty bad. I know they're going to feed Derrick Henry and stuff like that, but I think
that's where my thinking is.
Jags are at home, and I just feel that if they keep playing the way they've been playing, they're going to put up points. And under-over is low at 40, but I think that the Jacksonville's going to win by 10.
Yeah, I slightly disagree. I'm not, huge on this, but I think the Titans are going to cover this 6.5 spread. And like he said, this is my reasoning why I think they're going to cover that spread is they are going to feed Derrick Henry the ball because they just want to squeak out that win, no matter how So not going to take a lot of chances, going to run the ball a lot with Derrick Henry. But listen, I'm going to let you have this one, and I'll just sit on the sidelines watching.
Well, yeah, they did, move on to, another quarterback, right? So Tannehill's still hurt, and they had Malik Willis for weeks, which was bad. But then they moved on to Josh Dobbs. He actually looked pretty decent. I mean, look, he's going to throw a few interceptions for being your first game. Mm-hmm. So I think if he has a nice full week of practice, because he only had 8 days on the team before that start, it should be solid. But I just think the Jags are just, way better. So we'll see.
Shout out to Monkey, who also thought that.
Oh, yeah. Monkey's definitely betting the Jets. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're both on the Jets because, I don't know, at this point.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, this is just like the Dolphins aren't good. They don't have Tua. They do not do well. Oh, they've lost pretty much, I think, every game without Tua. And the Jets still have something to prove that they, I don't know. I assume Mike White's going to be playing. So he still wants to do well because he's just getting out there and being looked at. And, and that's what I mean when I say the Jets have something to prove. Dolphins don't so much because they're like, we don't have our good quarterback. So whatever happens, we're out. And, Miami does want to win, but I just don't think they're going to pull it. I think Jets are going to want to also make them lose as a final statement.
The Dolphins... so anybody bet the Dolphins last week, which I actually ended up betting them. They had a backdoor cover situation where they covered within the 2 points at the very, very end of the game. They were getting beat up by, worse than that score looked at the end, right? Because it looks like it was only 2 or 3 points. So, yeah, I think the Jets are going to go down there, play spoiler, unhappy Dolphins fans after. And that's kind of the way the divisional stuff goes, play spoiler at the end.
Well, here is my lock of the week. I hate those buttons.
You love the buttons.
All right. So, again, I cannot say this enough. I do not put my money on the Bills. I feel like I'm going to jinx it because I've never done it, and I'm not going to start doing it now. However, it is my lock of the week. I don't think I need to go into too much detail. The Bills just they know what to do. If they play on Sunday, they know what to do, and to do it to the Patriots. That's it. We're at home. The Bills are at home, and they've gone through hell this year. They are going to make this happen, and they're going to crush it. So I strongly suggest putting your money on the Buffalo Bills this Sunday. Let's go Buffalo.
I'll be putting my money there. I mean, I thought they were going to crush Cincinnati. I know it started out only not even a quarter of play. I think they're going to just roll here, and it's at home. I mean, the crowd is going to go nuts.
It's going to be the best fucking crowd ever. And I'm so glad we're going to be in Buffalo. Not going to attend the game. It's a little too much for... Well, Josh is not really a big fan of sitting outside.
We'll save sitting outside in Buffalo for the playoffs. Right? Do we need to do this against the last game of the season when they're already clinched?
Right. He's giving me, it's like, it's a give and take. Like, I'll let you go there, just not for this one. Let's wait until it's really important.
I said we should go if we want to go. I cared more about it when the Jets potentially had a meaningful game at the last. Now I don't know what is the difference.
Yeah, well, we'll be watching it at a bar in Buffalo.
That's right. Okay, Browns at Steelers.
Yes.
Another division game.
So I'm going Steelers on this one. If you've been watching and paying attention to Steelers at all, you've seen it. They've been picking it up, and they have a slight chance to make it. So this game will be something that they want to win. Yep. It's only a 3-point spread. Steelers are at home. I think this is an easy win. I'm putting my money on the Steelers.
I like it. I actually think the under-over is pretty low. Deshaun Watson has been getting the Browns scoring a few points here. Kenny Pickett's actually looked decent as well with the Steelers. So I think that the total might be something to look at with the 40 points. Not put my money there, but I'm interested. Texans, Colts.
This game is garbage. I mean, if we're just giving you advice, if you want to make money, we're not watching it. We're not putting money on it, but we think over 38. You're just watching two teams, trashy teams collide. It's going to be crap. So.
And they might be playing for draft picks,
Yeah, probably none of them are on the win. So it's going to be a battle to see who can lose.
Who can lose it? Right, exactly. Questionable play calls down the stretch potentially, So yeah, I wouldn't touch the spread, but under over looks interesting at the 38.
Yeah, low over.
Okay, Bucks at Falcons. So here's another weird one where the Bucks, I don't think they get anything out of winning.
No, they're done. They're ready to. They're already moving into the.
They clinched their division, yeah. And when you win your division, it means you're going to be, they'll be the 4th seed because they won a division, even with a shitty record. So even if they got to 9-8, it doesn't help them because everybody below them is going to have a better record anyway. So,
which means they'll probably take out people like Tom Brady definitely by the second half, if not the entire game. So you're not going to have a lot of your starters in there. Keep that in mind for games like this. So we would put our money on the Falcons, but we don't care, so we're not.
Yeah. I agree. Panthers at the Saints. This game does not matter from a playoff standpoint. Obviously, the Saints have no shot, and the Panthers definitely don't have a shot either. I do think that Sam Darnold's been playing some better football. They're now 6-10. I think this is one where getting the points here, Panthers plus the 3.5 points, I like it. So I'm going to go there, betting on the ex-Jet Sam Darnold and those Panthers to kind of end their season on an up note.
I agree. Not putting my money on it because I don't really want to.
Yep.
Vikings, Bears. Goddamn Vikings. Vikings, like we kept talking about it. If it's a low spread, they're good at covering those because they pull out these stupid wins, like just tiny little wins. But they sucked against Green Bay last week. The Bears, we all know the Bears. They're not that great. So, obviously, the Vikings, they will win this game. We think they'll cover the spread, but just don't want to waste money.
I mean, also, like,
money on them.
you probably, as a Bears, probably want to lose this one from a draft pick perspective. So, that's another thing that's out there. But, Vikings look suspect and just don't want to touch this one. Okay, Rams at Seahawks.
This is a good game. The Seahawks are in though, so like.
No, they win. They're in.
I'm sorry. That's why it's a good game. My bad.
Oh yeah.
So both teams are gonna be playing pretty hard. I would take the Seahawks. Again, I have other teams that I wanted to bet on more than them. But Seahawks, I think, are a good bet. It's -6.5. It's an important game for them, so they're going to put their all in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield has not been playing that well over at the Rams. Last week they lost 31-10. He threw for 132 yards. That's not the type of offense that's going to get to that 41.5 total. So I actually would look for the under on this one, 41.5. Okay. Giants at Eagles.
Yes, so here's another one that you need to know if you don't know already. Giants are in, which means they're probably going to sit their starters, and Dable's been very wishy-washy about announcing it specifically, which, ultimately means he's probably going to sit everybody. It's smart. You don't want to get anybody hurt right before the playoffs start, so you sit them.
Yeah, and it can't help improve their seeding much, so I think it's like one of those. You do it because the Eagles are playing for home field advantage. Mm-hmm. They're playing for the division, so that's still up in the air with the Cowboys. So obviously, looking at this the line here, 14 points. That's a lot of points. As much as we lean even that the Eagles would cover that one, you're always in these weird backdoor cover situations and stuff like that. I don't want to put our money there.
You were saying earlier too that they'll probably put their starters in the beginning, but then they might start pulling them if they're if they're killing the second string, third string players on the Giants. So we're looking at maybe doing a first half bet because if the Eagles are going to come out strong for the first half to make sure that they win. However, the first half spread was -9, which is kind of high. Yeah. So something to think about. Look into it. Maybe if it drops a little bit, take it.
I agree. 9's a little bit too much. Cardinals at Niners. So, Cardinals, we all know, not good. Niners are a good team. They squeaked by the Raiders last week, but they clinched their division, and now this is just a seeding thing. So, people think they would like to win this one because it's, it matters, again, against the, Eagles, Cowboys, Vikings, all those guys that are, 13-3, 12-4.
But they may be in the same situation where they're doing really well, and then they start sitting people, and you've got a -14 spread again.
It's exactly like the Eagles game.
Mm-hmm. So maybe you just watch those games, but don't put your money on them. That's right. Rough. Or first half bets.
All right, this is my lock of the week.
I got the stupid noise for my lock of the week.
Oh, come on!
You get the good noise.
This is my lock of the week. Lock of the week. Chargers at the Broncos. Look, Chargers are playing for seeding, right? They're watching the Ravens. That's going to be an important one to see if they can move up. I just think at 3 points on the road against a crappy Broncos team, I think that Herbert's going to showcase, watch out, playoffs. I'm here to stay. Mm-hmm. I'm actually not going to just go in and be a one-and-done playoff team. I'm actually going to go further. So I think they actually end up 11-6 after this, and it's my lock of the week, minus the 3 points. It's cost you $115 to get it, but you'll take it. You'll take it.
I'm taking it.
You'll take it, right? Yeah, she's on it too. Come on, let's go. Get that money. Get that bread. All right. Cowboys and Commanders. I mean, this is one where Cowboys want it for the division.
Right. Commanders have no skin in this game.
No.
Because they're just out.
They're out.
But you can't tell. Do they have anything that they want to prove? Did they just want to say, well, at least we beat the Cowboys? I don't know. I'm putting, if I want to, which I'm going to think about as the day goes on, my money might go on the Cowboys, -5.5. I think they're going to cover that spread because, again, this is important to them. So they will not be pulling anybody out. Yeah. They need this win. So it is something to consider if you want more teams to bet on. He's going on the over 41 because it's kind of low.
Yeah. And the one thing that people talk about with some of these teams, right? If you're the Commanders, as much as everybody says, well, do they want to win or not? What's the incentive? All these guys that are playing, there's guys their contracts are up. Mm-hmm. As soon as they put that helmet on, they want to go put out good film for the other 31 teams that are out there to watch them to say, look at me, and I'm going to be playing for my money too. And coaches too. Coaches are playing for jobs.
But they're not trying to play for a good draft pick. Whereas
you
got to look at a team like we were talking about before. Is the Bears may want to lose because they're this close to getting a good draft pick. The Commanders are in just a rough situation. They're just right in the middle. So,
True.
So their players will probably work hard. But I still think the Cowboys are going to pull this one out. It could be a good game.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the last game of the weekend.
Last game. This is Sunday Night Football. It's a big one. Lions at the Packers.
All right. There is a little note here, though.
Yeah.
If the Seahawks lose, the winner of this game makes the playoffs.
Right.
If the Seahawks win, it's not the case.
They're out.
So, you have to watch the Seahawks game first. So let's say the Seahawks lose, then my money's going on the Lions. They get 4.5 points.
And the spread might change too.
Yeah. So you might want to
lock it in now. I don't know.
Oh, that sucks. We'll see. Okay, so I like 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the spread moves, but also my bet for the Lions is strictly because I hate Aaron Rodgers. He does not deserve to make it to the playoffs. That team did trash. They were trash this year. Yeah, they had a few good games eventually. It took way too long for them to get together. The Lions, though, they were working through this. They have the same record, but I want the Lions to pull through. So, again, it's an emotional bet, but you got to pay attention. If the Seahawks lose, then bet the Lions if you want to follow my thinking. He's going under 49.5. If the Seahawks win, well, then that changes kind of how they play and everything.
Yeah, I like the under on 49.5 here. I know that the Lions score a bunch of points, and the last couple games Green Bay has scored points, right? So I think that's what's impacting this thing. It's still Green Bay. It's still January football in Green Bay. It's still going to be cold out there. I feel like these games are always like 23-20, 23-17, and that's the type of game I think it's going to be. 49.5 I think is way too high. So I'm betting the under on this one, regardless of whether or not the Seahawks win.
The under is probably even better if
yes,
if they win.
Yep.
Or lose, excuse me.
All right. So that's all the games. We'll just roll through these really quickly and talk about what we're actually betting. Give you a chance to screenshot this one. This way you can show all your friends and family and relatives and people that you know overseas.
We're on a time constraint.
Okay, here we go. Saturday, don't forget, there's Saturday games, right? We got 2 Saturday games. So the later one, I'm on the Jaguars. Jaguars -6.5 versus the Titans.
And then we are both on the Jets versus the Dolphins. Sunday at 1 o'clock or 10 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. And then my lock of the week is the Bills, -7.5 versus the Patriots. Let's go Buffalo. Pray for Damar. I'm so excited to be back in Buffalo. It's been a while. Let's get this win, and it's going to be a great game. That crowd is going to forget it. It's going to be a good crowd. The Pats fans probably won't even show up because they're just like, we shouldn't even bother. We'll just stay home.
I like it. That next one?
Yeah, and then I have the Steelers at -3 versus the Browns. That's also the earlier Sunday game.
Yep. Last earlier Sunday one, I'm on the Panthers +3.5 versus the Saints in a meaningless game. And then after that, I'm on my lock of the week, which is the Chargers -3 versus the Broncos. Sunday later, and Christine's on that one too.
Mm-hmm. And then we, to be determined, would like to be on the Lions at 4.5 versus the Packers, but like we said, we explained all of this. Oh, we are not. It's just me. Okay, so I am on the Lions plus 4.5 versus the Packers, but we explained earlier what has to happen in order for that to actually go through, and so keep in mind it depends solely on the Seahawks winning or losing. Yep,
and I'm still going to take the under 49.5 Lions Packers, regardless of the outcome of the Seahawks game, because I want to make a little money. Got to go get it.
All right. Well, again, pray for Damar Hamlin, number 3. Let's go Buffalo. Bills Mafia in the house. Love how all fans came together for this, and we hopefully, just hoping to hear good news on Damar.
Yep. All right.
We're on our way to Buffalo now.
On our way to Buffalo. So watch out, Terminal 5, JetBlue, Airport Bar. I'm going to go after you. All right.
I always forget this. I'm sorry.
I hope everybody has a Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
mommy. Couple of betters. Couple of betters. Couple of betters.